Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining today's presentation. As Catherine said, my name is Harish Nidagatta, and I'm joined by Rajendra Patil. Sorry. We are here to showcase how Oracle's next generation vulnerability detection and patching solutions can help you proactively secure your IT environment. Today, we will cover the key challenges related to unpatched vulnerabilities and how automation can help minimize risk, maximize uptime, and drive operational efficiency. So let's get started. In today's world, the cost of inaction is significant as cyber attacks are on the rise year over year. Some stats for you: 490% increase in breaches, impacting over 1 billion records in the first half of 2024. An average data breach now costs about $9.5 million in US, with downtime alone costing $300,000 per hour, which is very staggering from financial impact perspective. In fact, if you follow the industry, various types of cyber attacks, breaches, and all, you will know one of the biggest breaches in 2024 was with Change Healthcare ransomware attack, where about 6 terabytes of sensitive data was stolen. Most common attack vectors for these breaches are unpatched systems, misconfiguration, configuration sprawl, and insider threats. And it turns out unpatched systems remain the primary attack vector, with organizations even today struggling to apply security patches in time. Misconfiguration and configuration sprawl kind of creates a inconsistency across your environments because of the scale of sprawl you may have. And that is directly proportional to the increased maintenance cost, which leaves businesses exposed. Insider threats, whether malicious or accidental, account for significant portion of security breaches. This service, as I mentioned earlier, primarily addresses unpatched systems and ensures configuration consistencies as they are deployed for all your databases. Some more additional details on unpatched systems attack vector. 26% of the breaches are due to unpatched systems. That's about 1 in 3 breaches occurring because of unpatched vulnerabilities. Threat actors actively exploit these known vulnerabilities in order to gain unauthorized access and cause significant disruption to your business operations, whether through the main door or the back door. There are 2 elements that you need to consider here. One, existing vulnerabilities. According to various reports, 70% of the breaches are caused by exploiting the known vulnerabilities. And what is interesting here is 76% of those have existed since before 2020. That means the vulnerabilities are alive in each of your databases for the last 4 or 5 years now. This means despite the patches being published and the vulnerabilities continue to remain there, which essentially keeping the doors open for attacks. The second element is remediating these with homegrown scripts, which is a major challenge because you have to maintain those. The cost of maintenance is high, and it results in lack of standardization, leading to increased risk and vulnerabilities getting unaddressed. And there are many organizations who often rely on these scripts even today, which can easily become outdated because you're not maintaining that in a timely manner, and also becomes incompatible with modern security practices that every company is refreshing it as we speak. So our recommendations: the key to reducing breach risk is simple but very essential. Eliminate risk by applying patches before attackers have the chance to exploit vulnerabilities. To do this effectively and efficiently, we must look at automating end-to-end updates to minimize manual effort, to reduce downtime, and significantly lower the cost of cyber incidents. This is where our vulnerability detection and patching service that is part of our observability and management portfolio comes into play. For effective vulnerability management, there are three capabilities that are to be considered. One, continuous CVE monitoring. Two, most important is risk-based prioritization. And three, automated remediation. With this service, you get continuous CVE monitoring to detect threats in real time. We leverage CVSS-based severity insights to help you prioritize vulnerabilities based on risk impact. We give you precise patch recommendations for each CVE so that you don't have to spend a lot of manual hours trying to figure that out or doing some guesswork, and also helps you in faster remediation. And try to my earlier comment that there have been vulnerabilities that have been alive for the last 4 or 5 years. We track unresolved vulnerabilities in each of your databases over time that helps your security teams to stay ahead of threats. And for each CVE, we provide comprehensive CVE analysis that enables your security team to investigate each vulnerability deeply and act decisively. Most importantly, we integrate the CV detection, precise patch recommendations with automated patching workflows so that you can, in a seamless manner, remediate with minimal downtime. Why does it matter to you? Well, it gives you a stronger security posture by reducing CV exploitation risk. You can leverage automated scheduling capabilities and remediate to ensure your operations are uninterrupted and avoid costly downtime. And as I said, by integrating patching into your workflows, we eliminate manual process, reduce the overhead, and ensure compliance with your patch policies, resulting in operational efficiency. From business impact perspective, when we talk about vulnerability management, the ultimate goal is not just security. It's about driving tangible business outcomes. Our approach achieves three key business benefits. One, enhanced security. Two, business continuity. And three, operational efficiency. So let me walk you through each of these key areas. To begin with, enhanced security for proactively reducing risk exposures. 75% of successful cyber attacks today exploit publicly disclosed vulnerabilities. It takes less than 7 days on an average for the actual exploitation from the day it is disclosed. Basically, 7 days is the average time between a vulnerability disclosure and active exploitation. If you have not patched quickly, naturally the bad actors will exploit them before you come in and remediate in a proactive manner. Instead, you will end up being very reactive, trying to, in a way, respond to the situation. So the first major outcome is enhanced security by proactively detecting vulnerabilities to reduce risk exposure before attackers can exploit them. This service ensures continuous monitoring and automated threat detection so that you stay ahead of evolving threats instead of waiting for breaches to happen. Second area, it is around reduced business interruptions. As an, now let's talk about, minimizing that downtime. As an administrator, you will, the challenges of keeping up with evolving threats. The key challenge isn't just finding vulnerabilities, but addressing them before they become an attack vector. And most importantly, doing so with minimal downtime for your business. And again, this service gives you abilities to deploy asynchronous tasks without impacting business applications and complete the update in a short duration. The last area is around operational efficiency improvements. Key pillars of operational efficiency are automation and orchestration to reduce manual work, risk-based prioritization. This is the key because you want to patch what matters most first so that your resources are secure or has an elevated posture, security posture. And you want an ability to do fleet-wide patching and apply at scale across your resources. So this service gives you ability for policy-driven automation. This eliminates manual patching, reduces overhead, and streamlines security management to align with business goals. Key benefits for leaders from this service are reduce the mean time to patch by automating detection and remediation, prioritize vulnerabilities based on exploitability and business impact, implement non-disruptive updates to maintain uptime, and reduce security-related downtime and free up your IT resources for your own strategic initiative. In the next few minutes, I'll walk through how this service will help you find answers for questions like, are your vulnerability detection and patching process keeping up with today's threats? Or do you have real-time insights into CVEs? Or are you looking for insights into CVEs? And how is your security posture? Do you have insights into that security posture? Or are you optimizing your patching workflows for efficiency and business continuity? Questions like this, I'm going to cover in the next few minutes in various slides, so you could see, get insights into what our service is capable of doing. So this is how our service works. We notify, assess, analyze, and remediate security vulnerabilities in an automated and structured way. Notify, real-time security alerts for CVEs and patch updates. These notifications will help you stay ahead of threats. We do fleet-wide assessments where we do scanning to detect and prioritize vulnerabilities. Again, one more time, reiterating that, key here is prioritizations. Not all vulnerabilities are equal. So we use risk-based assessment to focus on the most critical threats first. And then you can analyze each CVE to determine the best remediation plan. And then we give you the workflows for you to remediate at scale and with reduced downtime. I'm going to step through each of these four pillars in little more detail. So let me begin with notify. Sorry. As you know, Oracle publishes critical patch updates, what we call it as CPUs, on third Tuesday of January, April, July, and October, addressing these vulnerabilities. Each advisory describes only the security patches added since the previous CPU advisory. If you want to know details of the previous CPU advisory, you should review information from previous announcements. That's how the current model of operation is for you probably. And what this service does is it has a notification feature which puts out a banner on vulnerability detection service console. So you get visual indication of the newly published CPUs. And with this banner notification, you can view advisory bulletin in detail here in the service. So we are basically trying to take you away, take away all the manual work that you have to do, going to various websites and do some manual assessments, create the spreadsheets, and figure out all the things that you need to do outside. The cost is very high in doing those things. So we're trying to automate that for you. The next step after you get the notifications is to assess. So with automated daily vulnerability scans, we detect threats early, reducing the risk exposure before they become incidents. We leverage CVSS score based severity ratings. We prioritize patching based on the severities that are detected. Each of the visual insights give you very specific data point. In the screenshot that you're seeing, right at the top, you can see 3 tiles. First tile shows you vulnerabilities by status. This breaks down the vulnerabilities based on the status of the databases. You can see number of databases with vulnerabilities, number of databases without any vulnerability, and also the number of databases that are not enabled for this service. The second tile shows you vulnerabilities by severity. This shows the total number of CVEs across all enabled databases broken down based on the severity levels. CVEs are categorized into 5 different severity levels that is based on the CVSS scoring model. And as I mentioned earlier, by leveraging CVSS-based severity ratings, we give you prioritizations so that you can prioritize your remediation process accordingly. The third tile shows databases with patch recommendations. This breaks down the number of enabled databases based on whether they are up to date or if they still have patch recommendations that could be applied. In the second row, we provide vulnerability trends. It's a chart that provides context on how the number of vulnerabilities have changed over time. Every bar represents the number of databases scanned, and their corresponding red dot represents the number of unresolved vulnerabilities found from that scan. And if you mouse over or hover over the red dots, you will see more information for each of those. And by giving you these tracking capabilities, you can proactively get insights into all the unresolved vulnerabilities, whether it is 2 years old, 4 years old, and you can plan out your remediation flow before they kind of become an major incident for you. You will see all these things when Raj gives you a demo in few minutes. Okay. Okay. Now that you have assessed the CVEs, you want to and also the priorities of all the CVEs detected, it's time for you to analyze each CVE. Remember, not all vulnerabilities pose the same level of risk. A minor misconfiguration, for example, may have little impact for you, while a critical unpatched CVE could lead to a data breach or an operational failure. So without a proper risk-based prioritization, your teams or your administrators may be spending time patching low-risk vulnerabilities while missing out on high-impact threats. This slide basically focuses on how automated CV analysis and CVSS-based insights help you prioritize remediation efforts more effectively. This shows CVs in a tag cloud with comprehensive insights, such as you could look at most vulnerable databases, top vulnerabilities. You can filter by severities or affected databases. That will help your administrators or security team to identify where to act first. You will see the CV numbers here that are color-coded. So the color-coded severity levels help your team quickly assess critical threats and streamline the patching up efforts. The CVE text size reflects the number of databases affected. So the bigger the text, that essentially means the more number of databases are affected. And similarly, the color also says that if you have a big font CV number with red color, that means there are critical CV. That's a critical CV that is affecting more number of databases. And there is a table at the bottom that we provide, which indicates vulnerabilities by severity and patch status, a cigar chart for total number of vulnerabilities along with severity classifications. And also for each CVE or for each database, we provide precise patch recommendations for you to uh, review it and take it to the next step, which is essentially remediation. Now that you know, you have assessed the CVEs, you have figured out what the risk-based prioritizations are, and then you have analyzed each CVE in greater detail, you can remediate that based on the patch recommendations that we have provided. And we have integrated workflow, and instead of manual intervention, you could leverage the integrated workflow that the service provides. That includes image refresh and asynchronous deployment and update of databases with minimal downtime, which essentially reduces the burden on your teams by eliminating the delays, which often leave systems exposed to threats. So this is a high-level insight into what these services are, and Raj will walk you through in more greater detail when he shows that as part of his demo. Here is a quick insight into the licensing aspects. As you or many as we speak, many organizations are scaling their security operations, and they're looking for cost-effective solutions that enables continuous detection and remediation without excessive operational overhead. So this slide provides a clear breakdown of our flexible pricing model to ensure our customers can choose the most cost-efficient licensing approach based on their existing technology investments. Customers with an existing enterprise manager database lifecycle management pack, we call it DBLM. If customers have DBLM pack, you can leverage BYOL model, which is bring your own license model, to cut per CPU cost by 50%. For those who cannot use BYOL model, our standard licensing model ensures full access to automated vulnerability detection and patching. Let me take an example. So let's say you have databases running in your environment and you are using about 100 host CPUs. If you have BOL license, you can save almost about $22,000 per year by leveraging the BOL, which is the DBLM pack. And automating security updates essentially, as I said, reduces your cost while significantly lowering the risk of breaches. Just to reiterate, right? The cost savings with BOL, customers who already own Enterprise Manager Database Lifecycle Management Pack can take advantage of BOL by reducing the per host CPU cost by 50%. And again, as mentioned earlier, you get, for non-BOL customers, you get full access. The standard licensing model ensures full access to starting from automated detection, assessment, analysis, and patching. And it does not require any additional licensing, or there is no additional dependencies for you. From business value perspective, your security teams who often struggle with managing vulnerabilities manually and which are very resource intensive and costly, this automated vulnerability detection and patching significantly reduces those costs. And you can leverage this automated solution to keep your databases security levels at a high, databases at high security levels, reduce the downtime, and most importantly, reduce your overall operational expense. So that is an insight into what this is. Key takeaways before I hand off to Raj for demo. As I said at the beginning, The goal of this service when we started building this is to help you minimize risk, maximize uptime, and drive operational efficiency. Uh, Under the umbrella of minimize risk, you can proactively detect and remediate using real-time CV insights. You can prioritize risks to address the most critical threats first. Again, you don't need to focus on remediating all CVEs in one maintenance window, because you might want to focus on higher priority CVs first. And automated patching eliminates the manual intervention and mitigates risk efficiently. Maximizing uptime ensures continuous business operations with secure patched Oracle databases. And driving operational efficiency with automated solution takes away the time you put in order to maintain and babysit the homegrown scripts. Final thought, by focusing on minimizing risk, maximizing uptime, and driving operational efficiency, you can, with this service, can ensure a resilient and secure IT environment. And automation and real-time insights should be made the core of your strategy that will empower your team to make faster and smarter decisions and keep your databases at a elevated security posture levels. It's demo time now, and you will see how this service automates entire vulnerability detection and remediation with CV insights and risk-based prioritization.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Harish. In today's demo, I'm going to show you how you can proactively secure Oracle databases with OCI vulnerability detection and patching service, which Harish mentioned right now or explained. This is a cloud service. To access service, log into OCI cloud tenancy. Navigation for this service is home, observability and management, database management, and overview. Using this service, if you want to register databases, this is the overview page. You can enable the service by clicking Oracle database and enable button, which is under vulnerability management. To enable the services for specific databases, you need to provide database and connection details. If you are using Enterprise Manager Lifecycle Management Pack, DBLM license pack, you can use BYOL option to use this service with 50% cost. Review the information you have provided and select for the selected database and submit. This is one-stop dashboard for vulnerability detection. Select the region and the compartment for your cloud tenancy and the service which you're going to use for. Using vulnerability detection dashboard, you can assess the vulnerabilities of your databases. We collect the configuration and vulnerabilities information of all your registered databases. Using database vulnerability status tile, you can see number of databases with vulnerabilities, databases which are not registered with the service. Vulnerabilities by severity tile shows you total number of CVs across all enabled databases based on their severity level. The severity is based on Common Vulnerability Scoring System, CVSS. We use 3.0 rating. Databases with patch recommendation tile shows you number of registered databases which are up to date with latest security patches or databases which have patch recommendations. Second row here is vulnerability trend. This gives you a historical insight into CVEs and databases. We cover all CVEs and databases which are registered. Every blue bar represents the number of databases scanned, and corresponding red dots represents the number of unresolved vulnerabilities found during the scan. You can see the historical trend using from and to date, or you have quick selection options using 90 days, 30 days, and 7 days. Third row here is cloud tag. This represents the most vulnerable top vulnerabilities and most vulnerable databases. You can filter on databases or CV-centric view. You can filter on most vulnerable databases to get database-centric view, or you can filter on top vulnerabilities to get the CV-centric view. Top vulnerabilities here, the color of CV shows the severity level, and the size of the CV represents the number of databases impacted by those vulnerabilities. Similarly, most vulnerable databases, the larger size of database indicates the more vulnerabilities found in those databases. Here, you can see the finance DB shows in bigger size, which indicates there are more vulnerabilities in this database. Now, let's go into detail about those CVEs and databases which are vulnerable. In database table, you will get list of all databases which are enabled for the service. There are details about the timestamp, CV details, then patch recommendations against each database. And similarly, in the vulnerabilities table, we are showing all the vulnerabilities which are identified and associated databases to specific CVID. Here you can see severity information, CVSS score, and number of databases. You can see these are the databases which are impacted to a specific CVID. Here you can see CVE 2024 52316 has impacted these many databases. Now let me show you how you can remediate the vulnerability by applying recommended patches. Using database tab here, select the database you want to filter. I have selected Medstore DB. I have put filter here as a Medstore DB for remediation. Here you can see these are the 28 impacted CVs for Medstore DB. We can get a severity and CVSS score here, which we offer here, provide. By clicking CVID, we will take you to the NIST database where you will get all related information specific for that CVID. You can see these are the recommended security and additional patches which are recommended for Medstore DB. Now, we have analyzed database vulnerability for Medstore DB. We know what are the patches which are recommended. We know what are the CVs impacted. Now, the next step is initiate a patching process to remediate these vulnerabilities. We have given update button here, and this update button is a bridge between a vulnerability dashboard and patching dashboard. We retain the filter and context which we are setting here in vulnerability dashboard while passing the control to the patching dashboard. Let me press update button here. Now we are in patch management dashboard. This is one-stop dashboard for patching. After coming to patching dashboard, we can see for Medstore DB, whatever context and filters we have put, those are intact here. We use gold image-based out-of-place patching, and the process which we follow is create image, subscribe database, mark image as a current, and then update the database. First tile you can see here is database compliance with the image. This tile provides databases compliant and not compliant with the image, not subscribed with the image, and database which are not registered to the service. By clicking enroll requirement link, we will take you to the service enrollment workflow to enroll these databases to vulnerability detection service. The second tile is patch recommendation for images. This style provide how many images are up to date with recommended patches and how many images have patch recommendations. The third tile is patch operation summary. This represents most recent, scheduled, running, successful, and failure patch operations. Now we will go to the database tab. Here you can see database table shows database name, resource type, full release version, CV details, subscribed image for the database, and patch compliance for this image. The patch compliance status could be either current, update, or drifted. Here we can see drifted. Here drifted means additional patches needs to be applied to the database. You can see these are the 28 CVEs which are impacted to MetaStoreDB. You can see CVE details, the CVSS score, and the severity. Any point of time, you can click on this CVE ID and you can go to the niche database for getting more information. As you can see, this image subscribed to MetaStoreDB is not up to date. There is recommendation to create new image version from the image tab. This is the subscribed image name. Currently, the image is 19.23 dbru, and this image is not up to date as we got recommendation. And patch compliance status says there are additional patches which are recommended, and that needs to be applied to this MetaStoreDB. These are the patches which are not added in current subscribed image. The next step is manage subscription. We will use action menu here to manage subscription. We can see the current image is 19.23 Linux x64 apps, and currently we are selecting 19.23 Linux x64 ERP for subscription. Once we subscribe the image, we can check the additional details specifically from the image tab for that specific image. The recommendation here is to current image is missing from latest recommendations, create new image version, and then include those missing patches. So this is the recommendation we got. These are the patches needs to be added in the image which are missing. For the image which we are using, these are the database resource which we have subscribed right now. And the patch compliance recommendation for this image is subscribed patches are not at current version. Now we will create new image version as recommended and add recommended patches as per recommendation in new version. We will use action menu to create new image version here. Provide image version, existing reference details, and MOS credential. MOS credential is support credentials which we take and then validate here. Select all the recommended security patches or alternate patches to be applied to new version of this image. Additionally, we are offering you entering manual one-off patch or MRP patch as per your customization needs, and then do check conflict. Normally, DBAs spend a lot of time in doing manual patch conflicts, but here we are offering one-click check conflict by which you can review there are any potential conflicts with the patches. Review the versions recommended patches and then submit. New image creation process is submitted and you can see it is in progress. Now we can see the new image creation job is completed successfully and image is ready. Now, next step is mark this image as current using action menu. Select the image version and submit the request. We can see new. We can see there are no new recommendations here for this image now for ERP image. Now, next step is update the database. To update the database, we need to go to the database tab. So here in database tab, we will use update action button menu to start updating the database. We will provide patching operation name and the database name. MedStoreDB is the database which we are selected. Provide credentials and then do a quick validation. To make patch operation deterministic, we do pre-check to ensure all required checks are completed successfully. And that's the reason we do quick validation. We can see quick validation is successfully completed. During the quick validation, we analyze Oracle home names, configuration metrics, image validation, software deployment validations. These are the things which we are currently doing. The list will keep on adding it here. Once we submit update operation, now to see the status of that operation, we need to go to the patch operation tab. Here you can see the new job is created based on the name which we have provided. To get operation details like log files, output file, click on this link and then you can get more details. Carry out 3 tasks as part of update operation: deploy software, migrate listener, and update database. Deploy software is a asynchronous operation. You can schedule this deployment during non-maintenance window. We recommend you to follow model like deploy Tuesday and update Saturday to reduce your maintenance window. Now you can see your deploy software task is completed successfully. You can click on this hyperlink to see the more details specifically on log files and output files. The next task is migrate listener. Here you can see the migrate listener job is successfully completed. You can see the log files by clicking on this migrate listener job name. And the third task is update database. Here you can see the update database task is also successfully completed. Now all 3 tasks are successfully completed. Now next step is we want to go to the database tab and see the status of database, because we have completed the remediation process and we want to see what is the status of my database, whether we have remediated all the CVs. Now in database status, we can see the database is now 19.26. The MedStoreDB is now 19.26. The patch compliance status is showing as green, and it shows we have applied recommended security patches. The database is compliance with the latest image which we have created for 19.26. The MedStoreDB 19.26 image is compliant with the all 28 CVs which we have identified and started with the remediation. This is all about remediating all the CVs using detecting vulnerability detection and then remediating using patch management. You have seen this demo using UI, user interface, but the same operation we support using REST API based patch operation for any of your automation need. As Harish mentioned, there are a lot of operational benefits we get when you're talking about thousands of databases we want to patch. This concludes the demo. Thank you.
That this service is part of the observability and management platform for OCI. And so this service goes hand in hand with application performance monitoring, the database management service, ops insights, and stack monitoring. So this is part of that family of services that give you kind of comprehensive and proactive observability against your environment.
this will only continue to expand as time goes by. So we are working on more interesting things here, and we'll continue to build more on that. So okay, it's a Q&A time now. Anybody has questions, feel free to ask. And I just want to say there were some questions around does it support on-prem databases, or is it only cloud databases? And there are questions around that. So this service is meant for both. Our vision is to make this service available for all Oracle databases, whether it is in on-premises or cloud. And we want it to be your one-stop place to get all the CV insights and do the risk-based prioritization and remediate those, irrespective of where the databases are. So today, if you have an on-premises database and you don't have Enterprise Manager, the service is for you. If you have databases on-premises, and if you are using Enterprise Manager, and if you have DBLM pack licensed, this service is for you at 50% discount. So you could use this.
We just got another question in the Q&A, Harish. And
Okay,
that
let me
is,
see.
is there an ETA for when this will be available for cloud databases and OCI?
We are very actively working on it. It's for me, from a non-disclosure perspective, I don't want to give a specific timeline, but we are very actively working on it, and I would say soon.
Is this feature available in OEM 24 AI as well, or just in the cloud?
Okay, so let me take a step back and explain this a little bit, right? For this, hopefully this my response will address this question. So Enterprise Manager, whether you're using 13.5 or 24 AI, as part of the database lifecycle management pack, there is a solution called Fleet Maintenance that is meant for database and grid infrastructure upgrade and patching solution. And also, as part of Exadata management pack, you can patch the Exadata infrastructure also. That's the Enterprise Manager story. And we have end-to-end one-stop place there, which we call it as Fleet Maintenance Hub. And you could, that's your one place where you can get insights into patch recommendations for each of the databases and remediate those end-to-end. So that is the EM story. The O&M story, the observability and management story is this service, where we give you CVE insights. So because many of our customers have been asking for CVE insights for understanding what CVEs are out there and what are the risk factors of each of those CVEs. They wanted that. So we built that interface or that capability in O&M portfolio of services. And we extended that to give you a workflow to remediate while you're in O&M space. The way to look at it is, if you're keen on CV insights and you want to remediate your databases driven by CV insights, then this service is your one-stop place.
There's a question, were you able to link CVE not only to ODB RU, but also to DB components?
So this CVE, this service is primarily focused on providing insights to the CVEs that are tied to the patches, not tied to looking at a specific set of components that are not relevant for you, for example.
So currently we are looking at database component, which you get in CPU bulletin. There will be some components specifically for the products options or tools which we have around a database, for example, Golden Gate or maybe some kind of a security. Those are not covered. We are targeting database specific CPU bulletin and CV specific details.
Well, we've had a very active Q&A. Thank you, Raj and Harish, for handling those questions. If you do have additional questions, by all means, we still have a little bit of time, but feel free to reach out to Harish or myself with any additional questions.
Okay. So let me see. One, this is incorporated with cloud databases. Will this be tied into data safe service, or is this going to be under the database management? So as Dave mentioned earlier, a few minutes ago, this service that we are building is part of observability and management portfolio of services. So this is going to be under the umbrella of database management. And today it is part of database management, and it will continue to be the case. And data safe is a different service solving different problem. It does not solve CV detection, CV analysis, and then remediate patching operations. Data safe is all about assessing sensitive data and security aspects around that. So they're two different things. So they complement each other. So one comment, I want to put out there is this service is available in all OC1 regions right now, and feel free to give it a try.
Okay, with that, I'm going to conclude this call. Harish, thanks so much for your content. Thank you, Raj. Like I said, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to us. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.